2018, 6:08. This time I'd like to call this meeting to order. I need approval of the agenda at this time.
So moved.
We have a motion to second.
A second.
Any discussion? If none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Tonight, invocation of pledge is Pastor Steve Johnson, Bradley Baptist Church. We welcome you. Thank you very much.
Before we go to the Lord in prayer, I just want to tell each of y'all thank you. I live in Jones County. I love it here. And the reason I love it because of people like you. You know, y'all govern this county and you govern it well. I know you can't please everybody, and I know you got a job that sometimes is not, everybody doesn't have a thank you. But I just want to look at y'all and tell y'all thank you.
Thank you.
I love living here. Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Father, we come before you, and we do give you the praise. Father, for those that sit before us, what could they ask for in your name, Lord? One of the greatest things they could ask for is wisdom. And you tell us when we ask for wisdom, you give, and you give generously. So, Father, we ask for wisdom. We ask that you will grant them the wisdom to govern. We ask that you will grant them the wisdom to make right decisions, Lord. And, Father, we know all of those decisions will not please everyone. But, Father, that's just the world we live in. Sometimes just doing what's right is honoring in your name. So, Father, bless them in all that they do. And thank you for living in Jones County, Lord. It's a blessing to be part of this county. For it's in your name that we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank y'all again. I got another meeting.
Hey, thank you very much. Scott Ashton. We'll move on tonight. We've got board appointments. District 1 Recreation Advisory Board appointment to complete the term ending 12/31/2019. Is that what you? Commissioner Kitchen?
Yeah. Jason, is that me or is that?
Yeah, you have it.
Well, as you know, we have a Recreation Advisory Board with a representative from each one of the districts on this committee, and they report to us improvements, changes, needs, policies, and procedures of the Recreation Department. And it is, I was on that board. It's time for my position to be up, so I found someone else to take my place. So I nominate Adam Lancaster. I've spoken with him and he will accept the position. So I ask that we to make that nomination.
All right, we have a nomination. We have a second on that nomination? Second. Any discussion? If none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you very much, Adam. Consent agenda and for approval for the minutes of first Tuesday, January 2nd, 2018. We've got an executive session that's January 2nd, 2018 at 6:38 p.m. Need a motion for this approval.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. New business tonight, approval going out for bid for stucco repair at the courthouse and purchase of a pickup truck for up to $7,500 as well as miscellaneous items. Mr. Bobby, you want to come forward, Mr. Bonner?
Good afternoon. I thank you for allowing me to come before y'all tonight. What I like to ask the board, and the first thing is at the courthouse, if you look at the little package, there's some pictures back there of some stucco that's in desperate need to be done at the courthouse. I would like for that to go out to bid and be paid for out of the 15,650-5412 building improvements.
Have any kind of estimates on it, huh? Any kind of estimates on it?
No. Got no estimates on that. Yeah, that's one of the fields I'm not real familiar with. What goes into that? That's all the little metal track that's up there is rotted out. So it's
Yeah, it's a historical courthouse. We only got one, and it's only gonna get worse if we don't fix it. I'll make a.
I got a lot of pieces that fell off, and I collected them and got them in my office, hoping they could put them back on the decorative pieces. You know, there's pieces that you just don't find and you can't really have made because they're sculptures. So
We need a motion on it separate from the vehicle.
Yeah, we'll need a motion on the, to go out for bid for the stucco repair, but you're talking about the entire building. You're just not gonna patch the area,
well, I'm talking about all the stucco trim.
all of it. That's
Yeah,
correct.
and
Yes,
now,
you're just not gonna
there's a
repair
lot of
it.
other work needs to be done to the courthouse. There's another issue like the brick grout, you know, painting. I'll be coming back about this, and this is planting the seed tonight, just get something started on the stucco.
You're gonna have on your bid, I know you will, you'll have clarification of exactly what you're looking for as far as details on the stucco and all.
Right, it'd be pretty simple, and
Sure,
get something drawn up and get it in the paper.
sure, okay.
Just-
All right, well, I
Motion
need
to
a motion.
approve, Chairman.
All right, we got a motion. We have a second. More discussion? If none, all in favor on this? Ayes have it, thank you.
Back during our budget, if I might move on to the next slide, in our budget, we had a pickup truck in the budget, which it got slashed, and if you look in your package, you'll see a inspection list. It looks like this. It's a safety inspection list we do every day. If you look at the comments down at the bottom where they write in what this unsafe about this vehicle that they're driving, and I have to initial it and sign off on it to give them approval to go ahead and do this. This truck is in bad needs for just get it out of the inventory and replace it. I know I can't do a truck, but hopefully we could find something for maybe $7,000, $7,500 range. You know, to get by. It ain't like we put a lot of high mileage. It's that we need a truck that's capable of towing a trailer. I had some estimates done by a public workshop director, Andy Miller. He gave me an estimate today of $3,468 to bring this truck up to par. The truck's worth about $600, $700. So, I mean, I wouldn't want to spend no money in a truck that's not worth no more than that. It's a 1999 model. It's right at 300,000 miles. It's just not safe to drive that. And I don't want to be the one that signs off on it in the morning time. But if you ain't got nothing to go in, then you're stuck. You got a man who'll sit there or piggyback with somebody else, and you got two people on the job when you don't have that much manpower.
Ms. Bond, how would you propose paying for it? How would you propose paying for it?
Well, I talked to Levita about maybe swapping some money around in my budget.
Okay.
But there's not a lot of budget in it because of the cuts. I mean, it's been cut so tight, just ain't a lot, to be honest with you, to pull. But, you know, I'm trying to do the bottom numbers, is take those bottom numbers and make sure I'm coming out of it to the good at budget time at the end of the year. You know, but as far as line items, it's hard to pull, you know, because everybody's pulling from all over the county. When you gonna do this? When you gonna do this?
Mm-hmm.
You know. This is most important to me. I take safety seriously, and these vehicles, we put somebody in there, if the brakes is not working proper, they go out and kill somebody, it's on me. So, but I just don't want that responsibility. I just want the board to know about this vehicle.
Well, I think at 99 miles, 300,000 miles, we've gotten our money's worth, and we can auction it off. In buying a used one, I'm not a fan of buying a used one, but you can get quotes and get actual surface inspections on it that are guaranteed.
It's a plain Jane truck. I'm not need no fancy. I don't need no four-wheel drive. Nothing. I just want a dependable truck to go just capable of towing lumber and putting lumber in the bank.
Sure. I was saying, you can actually, if you find one, you can actually get one that's got they'll do an inspection for you and guarantee it for 60, 90 days, something like that, or
right.
Some will go up to a year on a used vehicle. You might look up and find one of those. I've purchased one or two that way, and it's nice if you purchase one, you have transmission go out right if you get it, and guess what? It's, you know, you got an inspection on it, they actually cover that transmission
right.
for a period of time after the purchase.
Can he compare that against, I mean, his used prices against the state contract for equivalent vehicle? At least give him the option.
A truck, you looking at probably $20,000. Anywhere $18,000 to $20,000. You know,
That's a new price, by the way, on the state contract.
no, this is, if people knows truck prices, truck sell for $50,000 now. But just a WT work truck, plain Jane truck to get in, roll the windows down, you're looking at $18,000, $20,000. So it's just the price of vehicles now.
Have you seen the state list?
Well, no, I hadn't looked at it, but I'm glad. I mean, whatever, I'm reaching out to anybody that's got any suggestions that could help us and point us in the right direction.
Just out of curiosity, Mike, do you remember what y'all paid for the one y'all got last year?
Well, I didn't get that last year. To my truck.
I think it was 20,000.
Yeah, about 20,000, brand new.
Yeah, F-250.
250.
Yeah.
That was right.
Thank you.
Well, explore all the options. I mean, you can also, I mean, you've done a great job getting on the state sites and finding generators for $100 that
Yeah,
power
I mean,
the state.
I've looked at some Georgia power fleets, you know, this bid, you know, they pretty much take care of the vehicles when they put them in. You can go up and pay a mechanic to inspect them, check them out, and make a bid.
So up to 7,500, you're not asking for transfer out of contingency at this time. It's you think you can find it in your budget?
Well, that's what I'm saying. On the bottom line, it'd be, when I rob, we're gonna be paying Paul, I can just tell you. If I pull $1,000 from the Civic Center air conditioner, go out there and say, well, why did you spend $1,000 on that truck? You know, it just ain't a lot of wiggle room in there. I mean, but at the end of the year, Levita asked the question the other day, well, you don't ever spend the money you got. Well, you can't hardly spend it if you don't group it all together. You group it all together, it would all be spent, because I'm looking for money at the courthouse for pressure washing, waxing the floors and tile, just numerous of things. People are screaming about it every day. When we gonna do these things? You know, I got the maintenance guys. If you big on safety, why don't you get us a decent vehicle? Well, here I am. You know, I just, you know, I know y'all's hands tied just like mine, but.
Any more questions for Bobby? Any motions or suggestions?
Because I want Bob to get a truck. I mean, like you said, you've already expressed a safety concern to us, and now that we know about it, we need to do something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to put it in the budget during the year if we didn't need the truck. It ain't that I just come and ask because we need a new truck. I just want something that we get by with that's safe. If you look at the inspection report like Andy Miller did over at the Public Works, going through, it needs a transmission and you get up to speed. The transmission's fine when it's cold. You start driving over to the water department, it's skipping and jerking, doing all that. By the time you get back, you may get back, you may not. Right. It's just, you know, we don't need to send out people out and stuff like that.
Right.
You got any comments, Jason?
You know, I think it sounds like maybe we can get the $7,500 out of his current budget, pulling from other line items now, and if another need comes up later in the fiscal year, Bobby could come back to you with a request to move money from contingency for that.
And look at use state vehicles, use sheriff's department auctions, use other counties. You know, any resource to get.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I need a motion to that effect.
I'll make a motion, Chairman, to approve up to 7,500 for a vehicle.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second.
A second.
Any more discussion? None, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Matt just reminded me that we have that Chevrolet truck that we got from the golf course that presently it's on our fleet, but we don't use it every day, hardly any ever. And we had it checked out with Andy, fine tooth comb, and Matt's just mentioned that we can let you have that one if you.
Chairman, I make a motion, we transfer a vehicle from recreation to maintenance.
I'm glad to take a look at it, you know, but as long as it's trailer, I don't want to be doing the same thing another year.
It pulls good and runs good.
Why come y'all got a U one last year?
Pardon me?
How come y'all got a U
We
one
got
last
an
year?
F-250 so we can pull our flatbed.
Yeah, I'm same boat, you know, pulling lumber, so. anyway, I'll be glad to take a look at it.
All right. Well, we do appreciate the
So did it
inter-department.
rescind the motion, Chairman, or?
What do we want to
Need a
rescind?
motion maybe to just put that one on hold until,
Yeah.
so Bobby gets a chance to look at this one and see.
All right, you want to do that? You want to try that, Bob? We get a motion. to put- All right.
Good with it, as long as we get rid of the other truck.
Sure.
And I look at the other truck as an unsafe issue to use.
All right.
Okay, make a motion to put a hold on the previous motion, Chairman.
Hold on the previous motion. We got a second on the hold on the previous motion.
Second on the hold,
All right.
Mr. Chairman.
Any more discussion on that? Y'all got a good giggle out of it. I appreciate it. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. How you gonna write that one up?
Oh, I'll figure it out. Just for
We
your
appreciate the
information,
departments working together.
Yeah,
Matt is on speakerphone. He's muted, so
Okay.
we were gonna turn him on later. But,
You want me to turn him on and off?
It's an amazing feature.
Bob, you had one else, you had something else you want to speak of about?
yeah, I'd like for the board of commissioners to consider going ahead and accepting the low bids for the heat and air conditioning units. We bid it out twice. It was Schubert Heating and Air in the sum of $28,825. Two of the units is for the government center, the accounting office, Brian Jackson's office. They're on the last leg, and the courthouse is in the main courtroom is one of the units, and the other one is for Mike Green in his office.
We bid it out twice and. did the
Bid it
bids
out
get
twice, and Schubert Heat and Air come in low bid both times. I was kind of partial to blame with putting it on hold, because we was talking to Snyder about adding air conditioning units in the thing, but we got some that's going out now. We ain't gonna have a choice but go ahead and put them in.
One comment, is this, these are the 18 series?
That's the 18 series units.
Chairman, I would, and I'll make the recommendation to accept the bids contingent on going back to a 16 series.
Yeah, I would highly recommend 16 series, because
After talking with our environmental folks, without other parts to the system, the 18 series, we're not gonna get our bang for our buck, meaning building envelope, insulation in the building, where the application of the unit is. The cost for the 18 series, while it's still the best efficiency, we're paying for something we're not gonna recognize if we don't have building envelope and insulation to go along with it. So
that's probably somewhere like $4,000 or $5,000 savings too, by
Right.
dropping that down.
So your motion, is we're gonna go back to the 16 SEER bid, is that, we can go back to our previous bid, can't we, Attorney Child?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah, so it would be a reduction of this number.
Okay.
Probably
Yes, it'd be a reduction.
2,000.
18 series is a lot more money than 16 series, but you ain't gonna get no more efficiency, because it's due to based of where our buildings are, with the
Yeah.
insulation factor, window factor, door leak factors. Just not worth doing it.
All right, so your motion basically is revert back to the prior bid
Previous specifications on.
and using that. And using that. We had a second? Second. Any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you, Bob, for doing that.
Next thing, if you look at your package, and during the budget discussion, me and Bart had a discussion. There was, I'm in the wrong page here. Plumbing.
28.
This is a plumbing issue for the government center, this building right here, which is in bad need, because our plumbing is in bad shape. I've been working with Mr. Tim Ingram on plumbing. This time I would like to ask for the plumbing to go out for bids. We got a few little things we need to tweak out. I was talking to him while ago with a hot water circulating pump, maybe put in demand hot water heaters instead of circulating pump. But it would be close enough if we could go out for bids and start getting some prices in. Because if without a piping system here, if it goes out, we're down. I mean, people don't have no water in this building. It ain't been long ago it busted in the DA's office under the concrete floor. It cost the county $10,000 for carpet repair. So,
Bobby, just for a second, I see a lot of confusion. And he skipped to new business too before
Yeah, he's already done new
he
business too.
completed new business one.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right, we're back to new business one. He's up here for 2 different businesses, so we're just going back to one now.
so what page, we're back on page 11, right?
But quick question on, you talking about on demand, you're gonna do the on demand gas like Renee? With the net, we've got natural gas here, correct?
this is, yeah, we have natural gas here.
13.
You talking about for hot water?
Oh, hot water, you were talking about on
We're
demand.
looking at maybe on demand electric for just, because it costs us, if you put in like a gas hot water heater and the circulating, the cost is gonna be a lot more higher than if we put just time hot water heater. You're only gonna use it if you're in whatever restaurant, or it's not gonna be constantly pumping and constantly heating. It's just every time you open the spigot, it heats just right then.
So all we have is the break room, 2 restrooms.
Yeah, most of our restaurants don't have hot water heater, don't have hot water in the spigot, so.
Right.
So I'd like to add all that because that's one of the biggest complaints. Sanitizing your hands, washing your hands in cold water.
So you're gonna put separate,
Hot water heaters
okay,
per sink. Yeah, you can buy them, you're looking at probably a couple $100. One hot water heater would do like 3 sinks if it's 3 sinks in a bathroom, because
Okay.
only gonna use one at a time, more or less.
so you're gonna, okay, so we are doing 1 per 3, not 1 per each.
It'd be one, if you got 3 sinks, you can buy one that be adequate for 3 sinks.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
One per bathroom.
Right, okay. I was like, whoa.
Just do your research on those electric on
Yeah,
demand.
we use those already in the county because they're more efficient than, like in our civic center, the restrooms in there, that's on demand hot
So
water heater. You cut it on, you get instant hot water, you cut it off, you ain't popping it from one end bill into the other. I mean, it's costs us when you pump hot water out and pumping it back, circulating it. It's a lot more efficient.
I just know the residential of the electric on demand versus the gas, you can't even get a supply house to even stock or sell you a electric on demand on residential, but I'm sure, commercial grade, what you're getting ready to do, you don't need that much demand for those. So it might not be
That's
there.
120 volts,
Oh yeah, you're a whole different unit. We're 60 amp breakers for these. Yeah.
Motion to approve, go out for bid.
I got a motion. We got a second.
A second.
Any more discussion?
And that is for
That's replumbing the
entire building.
The entire building to every fixture brand new, from the water meter all the way to the last spigot out here in the ball
And
field.
that's coming out of SPOS, 2009 SPOS.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if you read down there, it says hope to have significant enough funds in the $2,000
Page 14.
now splash to pay for it. I don't know what the cost is going to be. I mean, you're looking. I got just 2 estimates from $8,000 to $20,000.
We want
I think we got $68,000 or something. That's in
That sounds right.
1999 splash, 2009 splash.
We'll see when it comes in.
Yeah, right now you're just going out for bids, and you can tweak it. You can kind of see
sure.
what you guys, and say, it's pretty much gonna be cut and dry on the plumbing. You get it in here, you got to run a main trunk, overheads, everything we got's under the floor. You got to have extra bracing hangers, insulation.
But Andy, just go ahead, Ms. Martin. It was discussion time.
Yeah. So every fixture in the building, you're going to on-demand heaters. Are we doing touchless? No. All right. So still traditional. I'm just making
We're
sure.
gonna turn a faucet on, and
Okay.
you're gonna have hot water hopefully with 35 seconds,
Okay.
30 seconds. So
I
use
heard,
normal.
I heard you say fixtures. I wasn't sure if you were talking about actual urinals and toilets.
Oh, no.
Okay. All right.
No, just talking about water line, because everything's in this concrete right
This
now.
will be pretty intense. All this building is concrete. The walls,
Right.
the floors, is to come in down the main wall line and come down, branch in off a 2-inch service, and then you're gonna branch in, and you got to cut scuttle holes.
Oh, I understand. It's going to be a lot. I was
You
just
got to have
curious.
plates put on, fixtures, the walls.
All right.
It's be time consuming. Plus, it's gonna be weekend work. not gonna be something you can do during hours.
Does our electrical need to be upgraded too, or we're good?
Oh, don't get me on that.
Let's do one thing at a time.
Yeah.
But the reason why I asked, because, you know, last week, I know you guys thought I was crazy when I said, hey, you combine your library funds and these other dollars to co-locate us. If this building ultimately has reached its, you know, its utility, then you look at those things as opposed to dropping another $60,000, $80,000 into something we're going to have to keep reinvesting in. That's the only reason why I asked the question. I'm good.
We're right now with Tri-County, they run a study for us. They got a load meter back here telling us what a high peak usage is going. You know, we have 800 amp three-phase surges coming into the building right now. And we got sub panel off sub panel off sub panel in this building. And we have big problems with tripping the breakers. People don't realize over the years it went from the school, it was the same wiring to all the computers. It takes a lot of, they generate a lot of heat. So,
But
yeah, electrical is the issue.
And for your information, you got a book there that we met earlier that about revamping a lot of this stuff possibly.
You know, I'm a fan of leveraging those dollars and moving to the square in the middle of the city and putting library and county money and courthouse money together.
Any more discussion? If none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Go back to what I was talking a while ago. Back during the budget time, Bart was wanting me to get some prices on the courtroom carpet. Just like I said, it's 25 years, 26 years old, something like that. The small courtroom, the big courtroom. It was discussed during our budget hearing. I didn't put it in my budget. I was telling Bart I had to go ahead and present my budget. The leader was waiting on it, and Mr. Jason, Bart's supposed to talk to Mr. Jason about the carpet. I don't know how it got cut out. And if you read the letter that's attached to there, it's coming from what Miss Judge Petty's got to say about, you know, she's a lot of stuff that needs to be done at the courthouse. And that carpet to do those two rooms is a quote of $5,528.
On the diagram though, we got yellow tile floor. Is that replacing the tile floor too?
I put you a diagram, a little spec sheet that's that you draw of the courthouse, and the color code, I think yellow is for the tile floors, and the carpet is for the green, I think it is.
Yeah.
That's just a diagram to show you. Well, I'm trying to show you right here, this is how much square feet of carpet that they're talking about doing. This room and this room, not all of it.
Oh, okay.
These two rooms.
Gotcha.
It's just talking about the whole courtroom. That's the oldest carpet there.
And what type of carpet is that?
It's just a glue down, commercial grade glue down carpet like this here. I think they call it patch craft.
What's that square carpet that everybody raves
You're
on?
looking, it's a lifetime warranty. You're gonna pay at least 1.5 times more, but it's got a lifetime warranty on it. I'm just wondering when, you know we got some upcoming renovations in the courthouse that are needed. Someone, if it's needed, it's needed, and it sounds like if it hadn't been done since '92, it's that's older than the truck. So.
And these are the prices. No, that's the square foot you've got there.
So did you mention that you could do it for $5,500? That was just a square footage.
No, $528.
Is that what it would cost to replace the carpet?
That's the cost of taking all the benches out of the courtroom, labor taking the other one up, and then putting this new carpet down. There's a lot of work that goes involved in changing that courtroom.
Wow.
I mean, to me, that price is pretty reasonable because I just got a carpet price and put that one room in Citizen where we just put a new flooring over there. That's $2,500. Half of that, and then all you got to do is go in there and just lay it down,
Right.
glue it, and then put code base.
And that's turnkey with them removing benches and them doing everything.
Yeah.
Is there any way we can save money with us doing the benches and then have somebody lay the carpet and us put them back? Or
I mean, that's something I had to go back with carpet salvage and see, you know.
The other thing is the carpet's tile you can buy off state contract, and it comes with a installation. Where you save there is they put it around whatever's in place. If they have to, they can basically pick it up and put the tiles under, so you don't have to move everything out of the room and do it in one sheet.
You're talking about on the square tiles?
Yeah, probably wouldn't hurt to at least get a cost on that anyway.
That'd be good if we can do that, but the courtroom, the floor up there is like a roller coaster, you know, that a lot of, I don't know if it'll leak it, it might.
It's got a glue on the back that'll.
If it'll glue down, it'd be fine. It just won't roll up.
Any more questions?
Where we're gonna get this from, is this something that's not budgeted either?
This is something that Martin keeps asking me about, and I told him I'd bring it to y'all's attention. Don't have it in the budget with this.
$7,500 saved from the truck covers it.
What was that now?
I said the $7,500 saved from the truck covers it.
It's pending on this.
You gonna make a money pending on it? Bobby can use the truck.
And move that around in your butt and your line item.
I'm good with it.
All right.
You know, it's just, you know, the trucks, and to me, I take safety again to the heart. You know, I'm not gonna sign off with somebody to keep driving, so I might just put it on the lockout tag out there and put it in the junkyard. You know, then we got to decide how we're gonna get around.
Well, Chairman, with no request for transfer of funds, I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you. Thank y'all
Thank
very
you.
much.
Welcome. All right, we've already got 1 and 2 taken care of. We're going to 3. Number 3 on our agenda is approval to go out for bid for roadside spraying. President, I guess you're handling that one.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, you might recall back from the budget discussions, we included a line item in the Public Works budget for roadside spraying. And so we're just requesting permission tonight to go out for bid for that roadside spraying. It would be 2 applications, and we would do it some paved roads, some dirt roads. And so.
All right. We have a recommendation. I need a motion for recommendation.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
And we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
We have 2 seconds. Any further discussion? If none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, number 4 is going to be put on hold because we're going to go back on the reading of the revised water and sewer ordinance. Moving on to number 5 on new business, award bid for hydro excavator for water department.
Mr. Chairman, I'll start off with this one and then maybe kick it over to Jeffrey for his comments. So you recall that we went out for bid on a hydro excavator, which is a tool that the water department can use. It's got kind of a high pressure water nozzle and also a vacuum feature, so you can extract dirt from challenging areas. We have some where utilities might be stacked on top of one another or they're in close proximity. This allows you to do excavation without putting a piece of equipment in there that might damage those other utilities. And so we also had a piece of equipment at the water department that they weren't using anymore. Kind of a directional bore type machine, a large machine. And so the way we structured the request for proposals was a price for the hydro excavator and also what they would give us as trade-in value on that piece of equipment that we owned. And so I think you have the proposals that were received there in your packet. We did review these, and as we had certain specs, obviously, in the RFP. We did determine that the lowest priced piece of equipment here, which is number 5 on that list, did not meet one of the specs that we asked for, and so it's our recommendation to go with number 6 there, which is the Ditch Witch Georgia MV800 with the reverse flow. The equipment cost is $40,500, trade-in value $20,000 for a net cost of $20,500. We have a line item in the water department budget for an equipment purchase. I believe we budgeted $36,000 in that line item, and so with that, I'll stop talking and kind of turn it over to Jeffrey. Jeffrey's familiar with the equipment and has seen it work, and
yes, we had the Ditch Witch MV800 as a demo. Guys they've had some experience with that particular unit. We also had the Premier unit that you have. Actually, that came out today. That unit was was more expensive. It was very user friendly. The Ditch Witch is less expensive. It's very doable. So with the option of the reverse flow is just an option where you can remove the spoils out of the tank much faster. And this is a feature on it. So I think the Ditch Witch MV800 with reverse flow would suffice us just fine.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Pelkey or Mr. Resner? If none, I need a motion to.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? If none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Number 6 on new business, award bid for concession operations for park and recreation. Your turn.
We want
if you
Man.
want to.
Matt on in case we have any questions.
We just need to hit
Just
the mute.
hit the mute.
Oh, we,
Are you on with us, Matt?
Yes, sir, I'm here. Good evening, Chairman, Commissioner.
Hey, Matt.
how you doing, Matt?
I just wanted to, talk about the concession bid. We went out for a concession bid, I think it ran a little over 2 weeks. And the only, bid we received was from Out of the Park Concessions, Scott Carter, who is our current concession vendor. He came back with an increase in his percentage that he's paying the county. I think it's basically correct if I'm wrong, sir. I think it went to 12.5%.
That's correct.
Percent of gross sales. And, he's been doing a great job, no complaints from leagues or associations. And I'd like to make a recommendation tonight that we continue on with Scott Carter being the low but only bid for a 2-year contract with the option of having the board approval, commissioner's approval to extend annually after that upon your approval. If not, then we'll rebid after 2 years.
Any questions for Ms. Goins at this time?
Matt, do we get a annual report of sales?
We get a monthly report.
Okay.
Do we get a monthly payment?
I'm sorry.
He asked, Commissioner Robinson asked if we got a monthly payment.
Yes, it goes to, finance department, correct. I will confess, after talking with him and, Rita that, and I guess I have some fault here also, the fine print of the contract that payment should have been in by the 10th of every month. That was something that, was an oversight, but will be corrected, and, him, myself, and Levita, we're holding each of us accountable to make sure we have his check in hand by the 10th of every month, along with the statement of sales.
So he's actually running a register, correct?
In our possession by the 10th of every month.
Matt, he's actually running a register tab on nightly sale.
I'm sorry, say that again, sir?
Chairman asked if he was running a register sale on nightly tabs.
Is he running a register tab?
I do not know, sir. That would be a question I'd have to ask. I do not know.
I just wonder, I'm just asking about the accountability part, how we account for sales and whatnot. Do we have register receipt or, how we, just like convenience stores, I'm sure he has to run a register, and I'm just wondering what kind of accountability we have as far as what's taking place, that we can have some kind of documented accountability on sales and whatnot.
We can definitely put it in the contract. I don't think it was in the last contract. I don't remember reading that. Jason can correct me, but we can definitely put it in the contract that time that he'll have to run a registered team.
Are we seeing any revenue increases from the new addition?
Well, football didn't really, that's not really going to increase, and we should this year off with travel ball tournament sales. We do have some tournaments that are lined up to come, but the increase as far as football revenue, having the new concessions, that didn't change. The number of teams, number of players didn't change.
I've got a question for maybe Jason, or how's that? Is he liable for sales tax and all on these products he's selling at the? I mean,
Yeah, I would think so.
All right. So I just wanted.
Gotta have some records like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just wondered how that, there's got to be some sort of accountability on this, so that we know going forward that everything's been handled properly. That needs to be in the contract. Register tapes, whatever. Make sure taxes are being paid. Whatever's being done, everything's on accountability.
Mm-hmm.
Any other?
And that's a good thing, Mr. Chairman, for having it this way. One of the advantages is he's liable for that.
Sure.
That's his business. We're not liable for the taxes at all.
But it gives us a record of what's taking place, and
Yes, sir.
and because we've got a lot of money in this concession stand, and I'd love to see us get a little something out of it in return.
Is there any urgency to have this approved tonight, Matt? Reason being, I'd like to see the contract, go through it, because I'm not sure what he's responsible for, what we're responsible for as far as equipment, who maintains what, how it's used, who's responsible for what.
I got you. Yes, there's no urgency that we have to approve tonight.
Okay.
Because there's no other vendor waiting to move into our concessions. He's already in there. His equipment's already in there. My assistant right there, Michael Ward, could definitely answer any questions, because he works very closely with Scott when it comes to what equipment is his, what equipment is ours, what we do maintenance on.
I recommend we table it and get a little more information on it, bring it back for the next meeting.
We have a motion to table.
I got one more question before you table, if you don't mind. Matt, on the government center, it shows 0%. Who's selling concessions, and where does that revenue go?
So basketball concession is a losing possibility. It's a losing interest. He probably doesn't sell, $50 worth maximum a night. He's paying an employee to be there from 5 to 9 every night. There's not enough product being sold. So in his bid, he bid out that he doesn't turn any money from basketball. So there's actually losing money, not making money. So breaking even at best. And if you go back, and like the chairman said, the register tape would better clarify that. But if you go back there during basketball season and spend some time, you'll see that they make very little sales, and most of the time their sales are a few sodas and candy bars at best.
Okay.
But it says percentage of gross sales, not net sales. So I ain't being ugly, but a losing business shouldn't be a losing business for us.
Well, we can, again, it goes back in the contract negotiations. We can put, whatever we want in our contract, I guess. And if he accepts it, then he accepts it. If he says no, moves on, then we got to rebid and find someone to do it.
Yeah.
And then we go whatever time we go without a vendor until we find someone.
Any further
I'm
questions?
not saying by any means am I insinuating that he's got us in a corner, because he doesn't. But I was just saying that would be the process of us negotiating contract with him.
So, Matt, when is the tentative date for opening day for baseball and softball?
Both parks are starting. That's like Highway 18 starts sign-ups tonight, and Highway 49 starts sign-ups next Tuesday. So they're in the process of starting sign-ups now. March the 10th is the opening day for Highway 18. Highway 49 has not set their opening day yet.
When does the current contract retire?
I
Expire.
have to look and see. I'm not sure.
You know when the current contract expires, Matt?
Now, because he's been on a 1-year extension. The current contract has already expired. He's been on a 1-year extension. And so technically he is not under contract with us at the time.
He's probably been on a 1-year extension for about 4, almost 6 years.
Okay.
All right, well, we got a motion table in a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. I'm moving on to new business, Matt. We've got award bid for playground equipment for Parks and Recreation.
Yes, sir. So we went out for bid for the special needs playground as well. I think I have a bid summary there, but there were 6 vendors. Game Time, Great Southern Recreation, Hazen Recreation, / Miracle Landscape Structures, / Playground Creation, Playtime, and Play Works, real tight. After a committee got together, comprised of different, I think it was 6 of us or 7 of us in the room, we rated out all 6 companies and their proposals, and the highest grade that came from the scale was Landscape Structures, and not only did they win the highest grade among all the graders, they also won the hands up from all of us as well. All the prices from all the vendors were all within $1,000 of each other. The lowest being $1,039. Let me make sure I read you right. $139,671.45, and the highest being $140,000 even. I'd like to make a recommendation that we go with Landscape Structures at $139,999.00. And I think Mr. Jackson is showing you the renderings now. So my recommendation for the commission tonight would be go with Landscape Structures and allow us to go into contract negotiations with them to get this project started.
Matt, is there anything included in here for persons with sensory disabilities?
Mm-hmm. There are no interactive sensory panels at this time. We are working on phase 2 per se, where we will be adding seating stations that will have interactive sensory panels for light and sound. But currently, that design does not have none of these designs, should I say, had any kind of interaction sensory panel.
I will say, for the record, I've seen all of these companies in action and over the last few years, and in my opinion, Landscape is probably the premier company. They have more innovative technology than I've ever seen, and adaptability to the customer's needs. I've been very impressed in everything I've seen from them, from the design to the installation to even your customer service after the fact too.
With that said, I need a motion for.
So moved, Mr. Chair. I mean,
I know who's
yes, sir, Mr. Chair. We've been working on this for it's going 3 years, and I think it's time. So
it's time.
Yes, sir, it is time. So I want to thank the board and city council and the community as a whole for coming together for this project, and I'm hoping in a couple of months the kids be able to enjoy it.
If I could second it, I would. But
all right.
Second. We have a second. Any more discussion? If none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Congratulations. Long in coming.
Long time.
Great work. All right, number 8 on new business. We have a convert government center softball field to a passive park. Mr. Pitts, I think this was your agenda item?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I mentioned it to the board in the past about maybe converting the softball field to a passive park. And being that District 2 has some money in the 09 SPLOST that could be used to convert this into a passive park. And I've been talking to our county administrator, Mr. Risner, about possibly using about maybe $1,000 from that SPLOST funds to work with a designer to come up with a nice design for this area over here, and using with a budget of between $30,000 to $35,000 to come up with a really nice passive park for this piece of property right here, and the funds will come from the 09 SPLOST that's allocated for District 2. Because what do we have right now? Our focus is on wellness, because we have a gym for our employees, something I'm going to bring up later on for our employees when it comes to wellness. It gives them another aspect as well as the community as a whole. The pastor mentioned about Jones kind of being a great place, and it only enhances our quality of life by having a facility like this right here in Gray. Because to my knowledge, Jones County doesn't have a really nice passive park, and this will be one of the first ones that we have.
All right. Any questions for Commissioner Pitt?
Currently, church league and softball. I mean, not softball, but soccer uses this
The
area.
soccer, you've moved to the new facility, the expansion. So right now,
Church league.
the church league's going to play down there too.
Okay.
There's nobody playing here now.
Okay.
With the expansion being complete, to the point that it is, everything's moving down there.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I don't come up here very often to watch, but I just noticed. I remember it used to be difficult to get in this parking lot on certain nights with soccer.
Softball and soccer, yeah.
And I remember the church league was pretty adamant about staying up here regardless of the move, but they have since.
Right, because I was talking to Jason Waters last season. He wanted to play at the new facility, but at the time the board felt like it wasn't safe to use facilities because of the grass and the conditions of the fields. But I feel confident that they'll be willing to play that. They want to play that this year, and then Michael can comment on any comments that he's heard from them or anybody else.
They do want to play in
the new facility.
Is there anything we've got out here could be moved, transferred? I know it's been. I don't remember how long ago, but I remember putting new lights out here and everything. Is anything out here on this current field could be?
We need to new lights, we should put new light bulbs.
Right.
We need to put in new light fixtures. We just upgraded the lighting system over there with higher watt bulbs.
So no,
As far as upgrading anything, as far as the infrastructure, we really hadn't done that.
sure. But is there anything here we can use at any of the other parks? Just a thought.
Not that we can't use the lighting system or anything like that. Bleachers maybe.
Okay. I just think if there's anything we could use and transfer over, it would be a plus also.
Like you utilize bleachers.
Sure.
Was our SPLOST money designated?
For District 2, for this, as part of the 09 SPLOST, there's approximately $100,000 allocated for District 2, and right now it's about $80,000 left in that line item for that 09 SPLOST.
It just said District 2. Did it have a specific?
It doesn't have any specific. It doesn't identify one specific item. It just has District 2. I don't know if it's community improvements or just something allocated for District 2. Those funds can only be spent there. So.
For some reason, I thought it had to do with Haddock, but it wasn't specifically.
Well, it doesn't specifically say Haddock. It says District 2. We can go back and review it.
Okay.
But from my understanding, it was just District 2. Because that's why I don't want to spend all the funds here. There are some projects I like to do in Haddock. But being that this area does encompass District 2, and I just think it would be something nice to have here in Gray.
Any more questions? If none?
So I make the motion, Mr. Chairman, that we worked our wellness committee, Jason and a landscape architect, designer, to use $1,000 from the 09 District 2 SPLOST to come up with a design with a budget of $30,000 to $35,000.
All right. We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
All right. Any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We're at old business now. We're second reading and adoption of ordinance to amend Chapter 34, Article 4, Section 34-171 through 34-233 to bring in line with state law ordinance 201801-10. Mr. Risner,
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. And Tim wasn't able to be with us tonight, but this is you might recall from the last meeting, this is something that's driven by state law. Oh, yeah, there's one Tim with us, but Tim Petrowski was not able to be here with us. This is driven by some changes in state law, and anytime they make changes, they mandate that local governments change their ordinance to reflect the new state law. And so in talking with Tim, this only deals with coastal marshlands. The changes only deal with coastal marshlands, but they still require all local governments to go through and change their ordinance. So this shouldn't affect anything that we do on a day-to-day basis, but just something that we're required to do. So with that, I would recommend that the board approve the second reading of this ordinance.
We've had our second reading. I need a motion to approve.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
A motion and a second?
Second.
No more discussion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Number 2 on old business, we have Employee Wellness Incentive Program. Commissioner Pitts, you're up again.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I gave a handout to all the commissioners. It was a flyer or a newsletter, and it says wellness programs are promoted as win-win. Employers save money on healthcare benefits costs. Employees improve their health. I guess each year we look at trying to save money, and one way we can try to save money is when it comes to a wellness program. In this article that you'll read, it'll show that there are savings when you invest in wellness. We have a wellness center for our employees, and I think we're probably one of the only communities that has one dedicated for their employees to enjoy. But I think it's just meant for us to try to take it a little bit farther. I know Macon Bibb, they're looking at one with Commissioner Virgil Watkins. He's putting it together an incentive plan, and other Navison and other organizations are doing it too. And I think it's only fair that we do it for our employees to improve their health, improve their quality of life, and also be a savings potentially for our county employees, for the county, as we look at our insurance plans later on in 2018. And what I put together is a basic health screen / task for the employees to accomplish. One of them is a physical exam, blood pressure check, glucose finger stick, perform some type of physical activity for at least 30 minutes, attend a Live Healthy seminar. They can be put on from Blue Cross Blue Shield or either other vendor from an extension agency, a vision screen, dental exam, sign up for Walk Georgia, and a health risk assessment. This is something they normally do during open enrollment or during our normal health fair. And part of the incentive is if you complete 4 of the 9 tasks, your name will go on a hat for a drawing. And I was advised not to do cash or do gift cards. And that we have 3 winners. The first prize winner gets a $100 gift card, second place $75, third place gets a $50 gift card. And you do a drawing every quarter. So it's not something you just do one time and it goes away. You do it every quarter. So if I didn't win this quarter, then I have a chance of winning next quarter. You create a health and wellness card. If you flip to that next page, it kind of has them listed, and it's based pretty much on the honor system. I'm going to trust that you do go to your doctor and have them sign off that you had your physical and an eye exam. You said you did, so I trust that you did it, so far and so on. And with it, everybody that participates, if you flip to one other page, receives a sports fitness smart wristband. And the reason why I like that wristband is it serves as a watch. It measures your calories, your distance of your walk, as well as sleeping. That's something, sleep apnea is something pretty big now, so we want to make sure employees get enough rest so they can perform their duties, as well as maybe even a t-shirt. And I said each one of those things would cost an estimated $5. The Wellness Incentive Plan, the budget for it, paying out $225 in gift cards for 3 quarters is $675. 300 sports band watches is estimated at $5 a piece, which is $1,500. 300 t-shirts, $5 a piece is $1,500 with a grand total of $36.75. And that's for everybody that participates. So the number may be a little high because everybody may not participate. How do you fund this project? We have been awarded $500 from Walk Georgia. We've reached out to some of our vendors from our insurance agencies. They've been willing to donate $500. So that leaves us short of approximately $26.75. Right now, I understand our ACCG Wellness Grant, those funds have already been allocated, and that's why I come before the Board of Commissioners. There's another vendor that I can reach out to, and I'm planning on meeting with them soon, but to let the board know if this is something we want to pursue. We have contingency funds, and also ACCG, they awarded some safety funds we allocated for safety a couple of months back, and then we could use those funds if we didn't find enough from different vendors and if the board didn't want to go to our contingency fund. And this is just an investment in our employees, Mr. Chairman, and that's why I wanted to share with the board. And I think our employees will get something out of it, and as well as hopefully the board will get something out of it by getting better insurance rates when we shop insurance.
That watch, it's not a Fitbit,
It's very similar to a Fitbit because Fitbits are pretty expensive, and this right here is just something a little bit less expensive, but it still gives you that same feel of a Fitbit. And I feel like the employees will wear it because it has a watch on it. You know, a lot of times you have the little pedometers you can put on your hip to keep up with your steps. Those are nice. But with this little thing right here, it keeps up with your steps, your calories, and all those type things for roughly $5. So I thought it'd be a good investment in our employees for those that want to participate.
You know, I know of one company that's furnishing these, so I don't know if Fitbits would, but they actually have to do so much every month and register to stay in it. So, and that watch is what registers. One guy was talking about tying it to his dog's collar and letting him run around.
Yeah, I remember I saw it on the news.
Yeah,
I saw it on the news.
But they actually, for this incentive program, the employees have to actually bring the watch in and show that they're doing their monthly workout.
Right.
And they even went a step further, is that their insurance carrier also gives them credits toward their deductible at the end of the year if they did it. And it was ridiculous with the credits they were getting. And I think Jim said he ended up earning almost $3,000 out of a $5,000.
Right. And that's where I'm going with it, Chairman. I mean, this is something simple, and I would like to see it grow and advance into something whereas our employees do get that type of credit, whereas they can get anywhere from, like I say, $3,000 to $5,000, depending on how active they are and pursuing a healthy lifestyle, just like you do. And if everybody else can encourage to be more active, then they'll be healthy, live longer, and like I said, it'll be a savings for the county as a whole, hopefully, if enough people participate. And the thing is hopefully you're also being preventative. If I can catch somebody before they have diabetes, or I catch somebody before they have high blood pressure, I mean, even your vision, as well as dental, any of those things right there could be a potential savings if you're being preventative and catch it on the front end versus having to deal with a procedure on the back end.
Sure. During the interviews with the insurance companies, some of the vendors actually mentioned kickbacks when we did activities or events like this. And I would ask our current carrier to see if there's room in there for doing things of that nature. Geico, I want to say 3, maybe 4 years ago, did this. They bought Fitbits for all of their employees. And they were grouped into a pool. And when you logged in, you saw everybody in the company and the miles ran, jogged, biked, etc. And so it became sort of competitive. As a county, I'm going to be honest with you, if we spend $100 per employee on a Fitbit times 200 or 400 or 500, depending on what number that is, the payback on that is ridiculous from a health perspective. And if we're allowed to get those credits back, it's a no-brainer. If we do something like that countywide, I don't remember all the details, but Geico gave back Biggest Losers prizes and awards, and it wasn't just pounds, it was inches and so on. But as a company, they got healthy. And as a county, to Jonathan's point, the potential is there. If we do something like that, you know, I'd contribute $500 towards a Biggest Loser, whether it's inches or pounds, because I think it's a good incentive for our employees to get out there and do some things. Even some of us, because I know Sam doesn't run, walk, bike.
He's getting ready to start.
No, you know. So
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
So your resolution's changed.
No.
No.
Show you my little life thing. I walk every day.
But what it is just to bring to the board's attention, it's a start.
Yeah. Sure.
And as with it, we can grow at wherever the board wants to take it. But I think you at least have to start with something. And with the task, I think it's something that we can easily accomplish. You can easily go to the health department or go right around here and get your blood pressure checked. You can prick your finger. You can go to the health department, do a basic vision screen, and just sign up for Walk Georgia. And I spoke with some of our vendors about doing just a little 15-minute seminar. Healthy eating, you know, the benefits of walking, how to prevent heart disease. I mean, little things like that that's only going to help the person, and hopefully it's going to help us too at the same time.
I like the idea of combining it with our safety and wellness, because they go hand in hand with a lot of stuff. I mean, if our employees are healthier and they're safer, it costs us less risk and less dollars, and it's better all the way around. So I don't know how we work it out, but I think that combining that or looking at the fund with the safety fund from ACCG after we talk with Blue Cross Blue Shield or our providers and see, what else is there.
Because that's where the vendors, those vendors, that's Claudia, our Partners Benefits Group and Blue Cross Blue Shield, they've all pretty much put in at least $100 to get it started, to come up with the 500 from our vendors.
Okay.
And so I don't know if they can, I'm sure you can reach out to them and they may give you more, but
So
right now they've already got some skin in the game.
Okay. So that's all the vendors there, the 500. I thought it was just one vendor.
And there's one other vendor I am going to visit, then they may give a donation, but I can't promise that they will.
All right.
And it's something I'll hopefully get started, the second quarter, starting in April, so that we have some time.
Did we put that safety money back in a specific account for?
We rolled over what was left, and in my opinion, I would rather not use that for the wellness program, because the safety money was for places that were found that couldn't be covered in somebody's budget that would need, repair or replacing.
I thought we were going to use it for incentives for people that
too.
weren't safer.
That too, but that was a one-time rebate, and it won't be replaced unless the board replaces it. So
I thought we got
kickback every year from. That's what we had decided to use it for, was the safety. That's what ACCG recommended.
And if I remember correctly, the money came from our health benefits, right? By being healthy and safe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that was a direct rebate off of.
Because they were doing the wellness and all that.
Mm-hmm.
That was a part of the refund, wasn't it, Mr. Tom? Because of that.
It was safety.
But we're not going to get that. That was a one-time deal.
Yeah, it was a rebate because of some investments that ACCG had made with the money. It was because of that we got the rebate. And it was suggested by ACCG to use it for safety improvement.
Yeah, we got a rebate. I couldn't remember exactly what it was.
Because I know we got the Brivs probably $40,000, and I do remember that the board decided we could use it, for safety.
I'd just like for it to be, last resort or not use it.
Maybe we reach back out to ACCG and see if there's any other grants, wellness, and I think we go through Blue Cross Blue Shield too and see. I know that they were one of the vendors, but I mean that's it's a big. $2,500 is not a lot for big companies, not for a whole county to sponsor something like this, because I think it's too smart not to do it. I think we have to do this no matter what.
And considering, I think our premiums were at 1.9 million. You gave us back $100. Really? I'm just saying.
Yeah. So if it's okay with the board, if we can put on the agenda for next. But the first Tuesday in February, I have a chance to reach out to this vendor to see if they're willing to give an additional donation. I asked Jason to reach out to Blue Cross Blue Shield to see if they're willing to give an additional donation. And at that point, I come back before the board and let us know, hey, look, guys, I got $2,600 and we're good. The guys only got $500. We have to make a decision where we're going to get the other funds from. And I think that's only fair.
Sure. We'll do that next agenda.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Old business number 3, we have a budget amendment for approval of salary changes for contingencies to appropriate departments. Mr. Resnick?
Mr. Chairman, at the last meeting, I frankly didn't think to ask the board to approve the necessary budget amendment or budget amendments related to the pay changes. And so before you, on the desk, I believe you have a little spreadsheet that details the amount of the amendments, and it shows $30,247.21 coming out of contingencies, and then that's spread out over the different departments that were affected there. And so it shows a deduct of that amount from contingencies, and then adding that into regular employees line items and FICA line items. Under animal control, you'll see that there's also a group insurance add there, and that's for the employee that went from part-time to full-time, money to cover her insurance.
All right, Mr. Risner's present that to us. I need a motion to approve this amendment, budget amendment.
So moved, Chairman.
A motion, we have a second.
A second.
All right. Any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Yeah. Moving on to department head. Pelkey, you want to go first?
I just wanted to say on behalf of the War Department, just continue, thank you for your continued support, and everyone's just been great, and we appreciate the approval of this piece of equipment and the different things that we're currently working on. So we appreciate it.
Is Matt still on the line, or are you Parks and Rec?
Parks and Rec, I read. Yesterday marked 1 year anniversary since I had my heart attack.
Wow.
And a week later, had 2 stents, 5 bypasses, and I'm back to work March 25th, and I'm doing great. I'm just thankful and blessed to be an employee of Jones County Parks and Rec. It's been a blessing to me, and just thank you.
Thank you.
We're all good.
Good.
Mr. Bonner, you sit way in the back. You got anything?
Yeah, I just like to say, I thank the board for supporting the building maintenance, supporting the county, and the partnership we're trying to move forward.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Risner?
Mr. Chairman, if I don't want to prolong the meeting or anything, but I did want to give you all a quick update, if I could, on the planned renovation at the jail. I know that's something that's been talked about going back several years, and they've had plans drawn up, and more recently had the pricing updated, and so I have reached out to ACCG just in an effort to start exploring financing options. And talking with the sheriff, this is something we're going to need. It looks like before the next SPLOST would kick in, and so with that, I kind of my thinking went to the ACCG facilities financing program. I talked with them. They put me in touch with an attorney that handles these transactions for them, and so we've been kind of talking, had him look over the plans that were drawn up, and so I kind of wanted to talk to you about 2 things. One is just to let you know, we probably need to start thinking about how we might pay for that. The most recent estimate they had was $2.5 million. So I think if, let's see if I can find this. Repayment, I just, just for grins, I ran it at 3 1/4. For 10 years, the repayment would be just a little bit shy of $300,000 a year. At 3 1/4 for 20 years, the repayment would be about $171,000 a year. So,
Repeat them just now. 10 years.
10 years would be $296,827, and then at 20 years, it would be $171,947, and that's doing an annual payment. And so, and this funding can be acquired pretty quickly. I mean, it's they can turn it around in 60 days or maybe even less if it were something we needed to do that quick. But the challenge, of course, is figuring out how to repay it, and if you wanted to go ahead and proceed with something, in the next few months, we could structure it where payments wouldn't start until the next budget year, so that as you go through the budget, you could put money in for that debt service, just in your regular general fund operating budget. So the kind of going down this road with ACCG, the next step there is to engage a surveyor. Kind of the way these deals work, and I think y'all have used this program before, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating stuff y'all already know, but basically they have to carve out a piece of land that's deeded over to ACCG as a lease purchase transaction, where at the end of it they give it back to you, and so but they want it carved out where in theory if we ever didn't pay, they could come take something, and they would never do that, of course. But that's what you have to create as part of your documentation. So, so the next step would be for us to engage a surveyor to go and do a survey over at the jail where this expansion would be, and so at this point, I haven't spent any county money to. Now, several years ago, there were plans drawn and that type of thing, but recently there hasn't been any money spent on this yet. But before I went ahead and engaged a surveyor to start that work, I kind of wanted to talk with the board and kind of inform you of where we were and just get any thoughts y'all might have on that. Not asking for any kind of motion or anything like that, but just throw that out there.
Yeah, quick question. Does the plan from the sheriff's office include space for any court proceeding? Because we talked about that. There's a huge expense between transporting prisoners, and that would be a savings that we could actually roll back in. Does it include that?
The $2.5 million, my understanding is it's just the addition of the female cell block. It does not include that.
If you can, just take a look at that. I want to say the cost was somewhere between $50,000 and $80,000 to transport from the jail to the courthouse, and that's almost a third to half of the service debt. Mm-hmm. So just keep that in mind.
Okay. And frees up space in the courthouse that is desperately needed too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It gives us a little relief in the courthouse, short-term relief. I know the sheriff's been very creative in handling the overload on inmates and whatnot even.
It'll improve the security too.
Sure.
Yeah. Is there any penalty for prepayment on the chief loan?
I think we can structure it that way where there wouldn't be. Basically, the way we would move going forward is, we would let them know we want to continue proceeding with this. They will go to. They open it up for a number of different banks, but I think. Generally speaking, there's a group that ACCG deals with, a group of banks that do these deals on a regular basis. And so we would end up getting proposals from several different banks, hopefully. And I think you could work that in where there wouldn't be a prepayment penalty. Because hopefully, potentially you could wipe it out with SPLOST at some point in the future. So.
Any other questions?
And I would ask that we allow our local banks to have an opportunity to look at the pricing on it, and give us something.
Sure. And also just make sure that that's the best route to go. Is our bond rates lower than that, or if we're looking at, especially if we're going to go in the 20-year range, you can just bonds 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
But if it's okay with the board, I'll keep going down that trail and just keep you posted. And so we'll have a surveyor come out and do that. I don't think it'll be a huge cost associated with that. We'll continue pursuing it and keep you posted.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Is that all we got tonight?
That's it.
Commissioner Pitts, would you like to start us off tonight?
I'd be glad to, Mr. Chairman. And I brought this up and I asked that we put personnel on the agenda, and we may be able to cross it out if nobody else has anything they want to discuss, because I found out at a later date that I need to bring this up in an open session. So just to bring it up, and I'm bringing it up just so that the commissioners get your thoughts on it. There's a a gentleman that used to work at the Regional Commission. He left the Regional Commission and he actually served as an economic developer in a city, pretty much in middle Georgia. And talking to him made me think, does the county need an economic development person that works for the county? Maybe serve as a consultant, maybe for 3 months, 6 months, whatever, if we decide to go down that road. Do we want to go down that road? When I did my little survey on Facebook, somebody was on economic development. And the reason I would say you have someone like this right here, because this guy will report back to us, these are the 10 things you could do to improve your economic development outlook. You can make yourself go to Atlanta more often, have some site visits, X, Y, and Z. I haven't attended any development authority meetings, so I don't know what type of plans they have in place. But I wanted to at least bring it to this board to see if there's something that you guys are interested in, or we just continue to support our development authority and help them wherever we can. Any thoughts?
Yes.
Go for it.
I'm not going to say as a resident economic development guy, but as a guy that supports the development authority, absolutely. Whether it's a consultant or a specialist, it's a no-brainer. We've got Billy Matthews doing an excellent job internally, externally, but the connections to the state and then moving around and being able to get access to project managers, I'm not going to say it's outside of his wheelhouse, but I think having someone with that expertise and that background can definitely benefit us. When you look at folks that are out there, and I'll use Pat Topping, who just left, he's out of the stratosphere of what we would normally afford. Having a specialist with, an RC background and relationships would be more affordable and definitely more efficient.
Mr. Roberts, any thoughts?
I think we can look into it.
We look into it. The development authority is doing a good job. This grad certification they're working on right now, like I said, has been a big plus. They said last year was a great year for them. They saw a lot of progress and getting to that point of grad certification. Getting the sewer there was going to be the big plus. We'll have everything in place that we need and going forward.
And please understand what I say, I'm thinking that pretty much outside of us, other than just that industrial part, even bringing a little small mom and pop 20 jobs, paying up $10 or $15 an hour, so that I can work in Gray, live in Gray, don't have to go to Macon or Warner Robins or Baldwin County to work. We try to bring, even that little small economic development to Jones County as well. So, any thoughts?
I think it would be wise to reach out to our other government partners and see if there's any interest there too, because I don't think economic development stops at the city limits or the county line. So I think, we all benefit from it, school board, city, and I just think we ought to reach out to them anyway.
Possible joint venture.
And another thing I had for the board was generators. I had a chance to meet with some of my constituents from Haddock, and they were looking at trying to get a generator for Haddock. And I know Don was looking at some different grant opportunities. He's had some health issues. So I was going to ask Jason and Jeffrey to look into it to find out, are we able to get that grant, or is that something we could look at in the water budget or some SPOS funds to try to get some generators, not only in Haddock, but any other area throughout the county that needs it. Whenever they lose power, you use those generators and the people can continue to get water as they need it. So I'll just ask if you guys can look into that, maybe give us a report at our next meeting as of if we need to pursue grant opportunities or SPOS funds or looking at the water budget to have those generators.
So when we lose power, Haddock does not have water?
Well, what we did during the storm, we had actually a portable welding unit that had a generator built onto it. So we transported it up there and wired it in, and he was, as long as he had one plant operational, he was fine. That's what we did. They've never had any generators up there.
So on 49, when we lose power, we got backup generators and it automatically just works?
We don't have the whole county on the generator, but we've got probably about 80-85% of the system on the generator, except for Haddock.
How many customers?
Haddock. So 330.
So about 10%. How much does the generator cost? Roughly.
I'm not exactly sure. On a smaller size like that, you wouldn't need a big one like what we would do.
5,000, 10,000.
500.
Just like that's a no-brainer. Like,
Right. So at least I was being fair because John was looking into it. So if it's on the agenda, then let's just get it done.
I was looking into it, and he actually told me before he went into surgery that it looks like we're going to get somebody he didn't know the time frame.
Right.
okay.
Right.
I mean, I'm just,
Right. Yeah.
really putting that into perspective. We debate buying a pickup truck, people without water. That's serious. Like, those are simple things I think we ought to really have worked out.
That was one of the things that, we knew right away that we're going to look into for that.
Appreciate it.
So
That's all you have?
that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Kitchen?
I think we've come a long way in the last year from our first budget work session with all the department heads, and I think we've made great strides in process, and I think it's starting to show in the way we do business. I hope it does. Leaner, meaner, and more efficient. I'd like to see this year ahead of our budget session possibly some strategic planning or leadership development with our department heads. I think that goes a long way, not only giving them the tools that they need to bring us to our expectations, but also to it brings you together working as a team better when you work together like that. And I think that's something we need. There's all kind of applications out there from ACCG to NACO does some stuff, and I think we talked a little bit about it last year. I'd like to see us do something like that. Starts out with a survey, whether it's online and even may include our the residents, but definitely our employees and our department heads. What do they need from us so that we can get what we need from them to make this team the best?
Yeah.
So, and other than severe weather possibility, so just bundle up. It's going to be cold even if we don't get the blizzard.
Right. That, Mr. Commissioner Robinson?
I'm good.
You go. Commissioner Martin?
I'm glad Sam brought that up. And I wrote down budget process earlier would be better because we had a lot of questions. We wanted to implement some things at the budget process, and we were kind of under the gun a little bit. So I'd like to start that probably March as opposed to June, and we're pushing, fighting to get to September. The other part, training. In the employee evaluation, department head supervisors were supposed to identify training many years ago for employees. During certain ACCG events, certain folks would accompany us and go to different training workshops. I think we need to revisit that and have department head supervisors, one, get trained themselves, and then two, identify employees for that succession planning, making sure that employees are prepared and engaged. And if employees are aware of additional programs out there that will help them build their skill set, absolutely. And we debated this probably an hour or so in our last executive session about differentiating between skill levels and employees. If they have those credentials or that skill set, we align it and we make sure that they're compensated for that as well. I don't know all the different training requirements, so I think it may be on the employee and the department head to help identify that as well. Still concerned about our bids. We got more bids on the hydro thing than we did on HVAC. And I got to believe we have more than one HVAC contractor in Jones County. I know we do, right? So I'd love for us to have a positive contact list for bidding. These are some small bids, but they add up over time. And simply in the positive contact list, whoever's making the phone call or saying, hey, we're getting this bid package out to you, name, company, email address, phone address. I did contact them. I did send them the bid package to let them know that Jones County is bid friendly. We've made some transitions. We've turned a corner. We need people to be participating in the process to save us money. If one guy or lady is the only bidder, I don't think we're doing our due diligence, and I don't think we're helping the taxpayer save money. To that end, I'd like that on the front page somewhere, even a column, hey, sign up to be a verified or certified bidder in the county. Input your company information. We know what the requirements are. We can put that there so they can start collecting that data. You know, we've got to show the $1 million policy. You got to show your tax return, redacted, et cetera, and have them already have that. So when we start looking, we can click on the database and send out the bid. It's not rocket science. Tonight we solved a simple problem. We didn't. They did. An interdepartment needs email. Why not? You know, I know you guys meet probably weekly and you don't put that on your agenda, but put that in an email and send it to your department heads and supervisors. Hey, here's some items I might need. It might be in a closet somewhere. There's a whole truck in another department that another department could use. I mean, these are simple things that are low-hanging fruit that you guys can use to make the process work better. So with that being said, keep up the good work. I'm excited about 2018. Stay warm. And are we going to be open tomorrow if it snows?
I did get a message that the school system.
School system's closed, so.
I won't go.
All right, so I'm just asking. You know, there are some employees that drive quite a far. I'm just asking. Okay.
I think the National Weather Service is having a briefing at 8 o'clock, a webinar to kind of let us know. I mean, that's a great timing, but you know, after everybody's almost in bed.
Yeah, and I'm almost okay saying, hey, if it's going to be bad weather and everybody else is closed, you know, save our employees' safety and all that stuff. Save them in the middle. Taxes aren't due this week, right? They were due December 31st. Keep them safe. I think Jason can make that call based on the weather report.
Is it, Ms. Martin?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We'll move forward. Any citizens' comments would like to come forward?
I'd just like to ask one question.
Sure.
Speaking of the wellness program
Yes.
that Commissioner Pitts is talking about, to show credibility, to show that we're trying and whatnot, with your like medical card that you had to have a yearly and your annual physical results documentation be a factor?
Right. We don't want to, I guess I don't want to know your personal information. What I want to do is hopefully you go to your primary care doctor, and once you realize he does your blood work and hemoglobin A1C is elevated, your glucose is elevated, then he can give you some plans or put you in contact with a wellness coach to help you. Because I think I don't need to know that your hemoglobin A1C is elevated. That's something I want you to know something about, and I want you to do something about it. That's why I asked maybe even if you go to the health department, because some people don't have a primary care doctor. But at least go to the health department, let them prick your finger, let them check your blood pressure, because while you're there, somebody can coach you and guide you on some numbers being improved. I may prick my finger and my glucose is 500. I'm like, man, that's good, it's high. But you know what, that's really not good. You know, you want to keep it below 100. But some people, they just don't know that. And if you don't have a primary care doctor or a health professional that you see on a regular basis, you don't know. But hopefully this right here will encourage you to go, bring it to your attention, and hopefully you'll do something about it. So that's why I said a lot of it's going to be on the honor system. Do you really check your blood pressure once a month? Because if I never check my blood pressure but once a year when I go to the doctor, you know, and so many people like, well, my head hurt. My head is not hurting. I don't feel dizzy, so my blood pressure's got to be fine. Nah, that's not it. You know, it's a whole lot more that goes with elevated blood pressure.
Right.
You're welcome.
Anybody else like to come forward? If none, I need a motion to adjourn and go into executive session for personnel.
So moved.
All in favor, aye? Ayes have it. Should be quick.
Okay.
Right? You need to go? Yeah, we got that.